Hello, my name is James from Charm EHR. I'm going to talk to you about questionnaires. We're going to talk about how you send questionnaires, and then we're going to talk about how you customize questionnaires. Questionnaires in Charm EHR are filled out by the patient electronically. They can be filled out by the patient from their personal health record. They can be filled out by the patient by them using a tablet and you using the Charm kiosk app. If you have a tablet, let's say an iPad, you can download the Charm Kiosk app for free. It will be in your app store. If you're interested in the app, what you need to do first is go into your settings at the top right, and then go into Facility. Once you're in Facility, you're going to find Kiosk Setup. You're going to create a login and password to that Charm EHR app. Username, password, confirm, add. Tablet should be selected. Once you have a login and password into that Charm Kiosk app on your tablet, you'll be able to log it into Charm Kiosk, select which intake forms you want that patient to fill out, and then hand over the tablet to the patient for them to fill those out electronically. Now, how do your patients get those questionnaires for them to fill out? There's one way to send those questionnaires electronically, and that's by scheduling them. And there's another way to send those questionnaires, and that's through messages. When you're scheduling a patient, you can select which intake forms you want those patients to fill out. To do that, you go into your calendar, you go to the requested date that the patient is requesting for to see you, and then on the right-hand side, you can pick and choose which intake forms you want that patient to fill out prior to their meeting with you, and then click on Confirm. Now this patient is going to receive a notification by email of which intake forms are required them to fill out from their personal health record. They'll then log into their PHR and fill those questionnaires out electronically, and those questionnaires will push back into your Charm EHR. Another way to send questionnaires out to your patients is through messages. Sometimes you need to send a questionnaire to a patient, but it doesn't pertain to any type of appointment that you're scheduling. To do that, you need to go into Messages. So I'm just going to go back home in Charm, and I'm going to click on Messages. I need to change the compose to questionnaire. I put in the patient's name in, and then I select which intake forms I need that patient to fill out electronically from their personal health record. Send. If you're unfamiliar with how your patients get personal health records, go back to my YouTube page and look up PHR Invite. The next part of this video is talking about customizing your questionnaires. To customize your intake forms in Charm EHR, you need to go into our settings. Just so you have some reference of where I am within the EHR, I'm going to go back home. To get into our settings, you need to go to the settings wheel, which is at the top right. Then go into questionnaires. If you would like to look up questionnaires that may have already been created in the Charm EHR library, go to our Charm library. Just for some reference of the type of intake forms that already exist in the Charm library, I'm going to shoot some examples out to you. So for instance, functional medicine practices, they sometimes require their patients to fill out IFMs. Well, there's the IFM. You can read through this questionnaire. It's all 13 pages. And if you want patients to fill out these IFMs, click on this action button and select Import. It'll push the IFM to your practice questionnaires. We'll search by IFM, the name of the questionnaire, and then you'll be able to rename it and also edit this questionnaire. Some other examples that you can look for in our library. Let's say you're in psychiatry and you send your patients MDQs. Write MDQ, there's the mood disorder questionnaire. Click on it just to review the questionnaire and make sure it's made correctly. And if it is good, click on this action button and select import. Some other examples: PHQ-9, MSQ. How about informed consents? Your patients can date and sign your questionnaires. So if you have a release of medical records, telehealth consents, informed consents, you can click on that questionnaire, see how it's customized, know that you can make changes to this intake form. Not just the name of the intake form, but the provider's name that's written in there, the practice's name, how the questionnaire is laid out. You can make those customizations. So for instance, we like this informed consent. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this action button and select import. That's going to push this questionnaire from the library to our practice questionnaires. We're going to go to that informed consent. Then we're going to edit this questionnaire by clicking on this action button and selecting edit. And then we're going to rename this questionnaire, whatever you prefer. To make edits, go to the part that needs to be edited, let's say physician name, click on this action button, and then select edit. Change out that provider's name, put in your name instead, and then press OK. In the case that you want to customize your own intake forms in Charm EHR, you can do that too. So we're going to go back to our questionnaire section. To customize your own intake forms, click on where it says plus questionnaire. Name the questionnaire and select plus items. I'm going to give you an example of how you can customize this form. A lot of the time with these questionnaires that I see, there's details that you need the patient to read. So for instance, you may say, welcome to the practice, something very short. You have components and widgets that you can use as tools to customize your form. Click in where it says question. Anything that the patient needs to read, you should use a label. And I said, welcome to the practice, so I would write, welcome to the practice. Anything the patient just needs to answer, you'll use a question. If that question is going to be lengthy, or that answer is going to be lengthy or short, you choose multi-line or single line. And then you have question with options. A good example of this is sometimes you're asking about family history, so family medical history, FMH. And then you have your options below. So let's say we write cancer, diabetes, etc. They would choose any of these choices. And then you also have rating scale, which is exactly what it sounds like. You put your question and then how you want them to rate that. You could also use it for scoring purposes as well. And the next one is yes, no questions. Pretty self-explanatory. Put your question in, they would choose yes or no. And next is date and signature. Your patients are able to date and sign your forms. So if you need them to date and sign, choose the date and write in date. And then select signature. They will electronically sign this form. Now another example of a form that I'll see is like up top you'll still have your content that you need the patient to read, but later on you'll start asking for information related to their demographics, allergies, medications, supplements, insurance details. We have widgets that will auto-populate those details directly into your patient's chart. You need to add those widgets into this intake form. To do that, click in where it says question, and you want to get their first, their last, their sex, their date of birth, their contact, emergency contact. We'll use personal details and use our primary contact details. Let's say you want to get their allergies and medications and the supplements that they take. Change this, and we'll choose allergies, we'll choose medications, and we'll choose supplements. So, if they were to write, I take amoxicillin once a day, That amoxicillin once a day is going to push to the medication section of the patient's chart. You reconcile that data from the questionnaire into the chart. Other details that you can have populate is also in their insurance details. It will ask for the patient's payer, copay, deductible, expiry date of their insurance, etc. And those details will auto-populate as well. They go directly into the patient's insurance details. You can also have other details populate from the questionnaire directly into your encounter note. I have another video for that. It's called New Widgets. Those widgets are right below over here where it says history of present illness. So from chief complaints all the way down to review of systems, those are details that will auto-populate from the questionnaire into your patient's encounter note. So for instance, if you want to get their chief complaints ahead of time, choose chief complaints, but then you're required to choose a template to get those chief complaints. I recommend taking a look at my new widgets video. This is a good start off point for customizing your own intake forms. If you have any questions, contact us at support@charmhealth.com. Thank you so much.